When I first saw gameplay of the first Grounded, I was absolutely enamored. Because like the aspect of surviving in your own backyard as a truly miniaturized person is such a super novel idea. We've got Honey, I Shrank the Kids for that awesome novel concept. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to play it, but thankfully I'm getting to play the sequel. Which, full disclaimer, this copy was provided to me by Xbox, but that doesn't change my thoughts or opinions of the game. Now, even though I can't give you a comparison of how this game is versus its predecessor, I think that's a pretty good thing, because I want my impression to be as unbiased as possible, and I want to approach this game with a fresh perspective. So if you haven't played the first one like me, then you might find this vid much more helpful to you than otherwise. This story literally picks up a couple years after the first one. Yeah, but it does a good enough job of explaining things even in just the intro, that I feel like I don't even need to play the first one. Not that I'm trying to discourage you or anything like that, of course. If you want to play the first one, go ahead. Now the game's obviously set in the early 90s, and everything about it from the soundtrack to the character design all scream nostalgia trip. I think it's super cool, but that's not actually what I like best about it. So starting out, the game's got 4 of these characters to choose from, and based on the intro it seems like these 4 characters are from the first game. I don't really know.
Hey, I'm Maxwell. Maxwell Smalls. Remember that name.
I'm Willow, yeah? You can pick me. Up to you.
Hi there, I'm Pete. I know all about arthropods.
Hoops is in the house, ready to dunk, baby.
So the game is set in a place called Brook Hollow Park, which is an area owned by a corporation called Omnit, quote-unquote, a formerly evil corporation called Omnit. And judging by the map, it actually looks like a huge amount of area. See, like this is where we are. This tiny space is where I've explored so far. And here is what's currently available that's in the game right now. And I do believe that the devs are planning for even more, so there's plenty more coming. Now, like many survival crafting games, the story is tied to your progression, and the more you go and explore and discover, the more capable you'll become. Uh-oh. There's an Orb Weaver Jr. over there, which I'm not sure we want to deal with right now. We got other things to do. One of the things that's a little bit different from the usual survival crafting game is that instead of using a stone axe that you make, or a stone pickaxe or whatever, you're actually given this Omnitool. And it's got all the different modes that do the things for you. And to unlock them, you have to go to a ranger station. So here's the Omni Axe, Omni Shovel, the Omni Hammer, Omni Wrench, and basically to unlock these different levels, you have to acquire the different parts. And the reason why I like this is because it cleans up our inventory and action bar items quite a lot. I don't really want to have to shuffle around different tools just to go gather wood or whatever. And then also have to deal with like their maintenance and repair and all that. Like I just want to gather. When you get new materials, you can scan it here at the resource analyzer. Doing that unlocks various crafting and building recipes and also provides science points. The science points you then spend here at the ranger station. So here you can unlock various things like this hatchery here, the smithing station, the cookery, more foundations for your buildings, all sorts of stuff. These science points are basically how you progress in this game. A lot of what you need can be crafted here at the workbench. Stuff like your armor and weapons. Like here, this Peddlet Spear, which is your basic first weapon. Here we've got Crimson Saber, which is comprised of ant parts and grub hides. Side note, is it just me or like wearing bug parts like this, like their heads, a little bit, gross? I get that kids love bugs and whatnot, but would you wear a bug? I don't know. It's just me, maybe. Like, I personally have to wonder what this actually smells like. Like, it can't be good, right? There's other secondary benches too, like the spinning wheel, which makes crude rope. Let's actually take all and make some more, because we kind of need more rope. You constantly need rope in this game. Oh, a quick note about the spinning wheel here. You'll notice that the crude rope requires 1 plant fiber to make. But if you make rope here at the workbench, it takes 3 to make 1. So this is much more efficient. It just takes longer because with this version you can just click it, you can just craft it, and you can just have it now. Whereas this takes time. Oh, and one of the cool things about the storage system is that you see down at the bottom it says open, hot deposit, relocate, recycle. Hot deposit means you can put everything that's in your inventory into the appropriate storages. So for example, we hot deposited here on this one, but all it put in here was the rope. The other stuff we were carrying were put into this resources chest. Here's the cookery, which I unlocked earlier, which, you can make nachos and mite loaf, which requires, mite fuzz, mushrooms, raw aphid meat. I haven't had this yet. I actually need to go find more aphids so I can make more of these mite loaves, because this is key. Like, attacking uses less stamina is kind of important, especially if you want to fight the bigger things. There's also this smoothie station, which makes drinkable buffs as well. So on top of this food that the cookery makes, there's these smoothies. As you can see, they all heal. But the differences are, like, this one has hyper stamina, where you regain stamina faster. Oh, this one has better attack damage. This one has a cure for venom, so it's easier to fight scorpions with. Building is honestly nice and simple. Hitting B launches construction mode, and you can see up top the various categories of stuff that you can build. The first category is all about the stations you can make, like campfires and lean-tos, little garden patches, the different workbenches as well, storage, a grinder, which we haven't made yet, so we should probably make that. Making something is pretty simple. You just select it from that wheel and you plop it down. What's really nice is that there's build from storage, so we don't have to worry about getting resources out of here. And we can just populate this.
Didn't even break a
Done.
sweat.
Will it grind? Now the second category here is like all of the building tiles, like the walls and floors and stuff like that. As you can see here, there's different tiers. So, which changes not just the look, but what materials are used in creating this thing. The next one is filled with foundations, stairs, scaffolds, and whatnot. As you can see, we have the clay foundation and the pebblet foundations. We've also got different stairs, different fences. We even have railings here, as well as little pebble paths, which is honestly kind of cool. Up next is furniture, which has like chairs and tables and side tables, lights. That's going to be important. We can make a rug out of mite fuzz, which is weird. And finally, there's this decor category, which has these like taxidermied ants, which I'm not really a big fan of, but I think it's kind of cool that you can actually do this. Like, you can not, it's not just the heads, but you can actually have the stuffed insects in there. But yeah, this is my humble little home. And over there is my defensive position. Here's my turret, which you get in, and you basically shoot from this position. Down here are some spike barriers, because, well, we kind of need that. Enemies are going to be coming from every direction, and it's important that we have, defenses. It won't stop them from going over, but they will get damaged by hitting it. And this stuff is here because there's actually a Horde mode to this game. Like, there is a person who, let's say we're after them, and they kind of test us by sending their mind-controlled insects at us. And this basically keeps us nice and defended. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this to have a Horde mode, which I feel like is a feature in survival games that a lot of gamers really enjoy. So combat is pretty snappy in the game too. Like, there's this standard attack, which you can do a 3-part combo with. Or you can do a charged attack, which should break through blocks. You can also block, and you can hold it down to reduce damage that you take. And you can time it right so that you can do a perfect block where you take no damage, and it takes no stamina. Plus it might even stun the creature attacking you. There's also a dodge, which you can do in any direction. The problem is it feels too far. Like, if I'm fighting something, it's right in front of me like this, and I make this dodge, it's difficult for me to make a counter attack because it's usually going to still be right around where it starts. I'll show you. We'll get into combat in a little bit. Otherwise, I do wish there was a short dodge and a long dodge. I just want to take a few steps back instead of going all the way back here. Like, this is way too far. Other than that, there's different weapon damage types. Like, if we look at my 3 different weapons here, this club does smashing damage, these claws do slashing damage, and the lance does stabbing damage. And this just means that different weapons will be more useful against different enemies, because they're all going to have their different resistances. If we hit X, we can get the Peep.R function, which means we can look at different insects and see what their resistances and weaknesses are. So here, you can see that the Orb Weaver has spicy weaknesses, and resistances to stabbing, fresh, and venom. Let's try and attack him with these mighty claws. Ow. Ow. That was a really bad fight, but that's alright. So this baby garden snail has weaknesses of fresh and salty, and has no resistances. It does have weak points of getting stabbed in the eyes, so that's always good. You've probably seen this guy as we've been moving around the area here, and this is the Buggy. And honestly, this is my favorite part of the game. The only one I've unlocked so far is this red soldier ant, but it's just so badass. It moves so much faster than you, and that just by itself makes it worth.
We could base a whole sport on this.
Come here, Weevil.
Rad.
As you can see, it attacks. It's actually a pretty good attack. It can also block. And most importantly, if you hop off, it'll follow you and help you out in combat. Just as importantly, they can gather for you. If you look on the right side, it says, dismount, gather mode, recruit. Gather mode,
Gather it all up, Buggy.
it goes into this mode where it goes a little bit slower, but it kind of picks up everything. But it does more than just gather up these little things. It can actually do stuff like chop down stems and grasses. And not only that, but it's got a higher carrying capacity. Like you yourself can carry up to 5 things, but the Buggy allows you to carry up to 12. Is there another thing up here that we can chop down? Yeah, let's get this because it's got seeds. See how we can carry so much more stuff than normal? It's really, really nice. Now, one of the more interesting things about the Buggy is that you can go down into, say, an anthill and not get aggroed on because you're technically an ant. And these little red worker ants too, like you can recruit them. See, this one's now kind of our buddy, our little pal. And usually the red soldier ants will attack us on sight because we're invading their home. But because we're riding this ant, they see us as their ally. So it gives us the opportunity to kind of explore without really having to deal with fighting. At least as long as we don't break any of their larvae. So as you can see, they've got a health bar down at the bottom center there. So if they lose all their health in combat, let's say, then they're going to get disabled. And if you don't revive them, they're going to end up back here at the ant nest, where they have to sit there and recover. See here, I've got 2 different ants. Here's our second ant. They had fallen earlier in combat, and so they had to come back here to the ant nest to recover. And oh, we can rename them here, which is kind of cool. We'll call this guy Snappy. Sure, that works. That one's Snappy. And actually, let's swap over to
You're coming with me.
to Snappy. There's Snappy, which means the one we were just riding needs to be renamed as well. So let's call them Chompy, because I have no imagination. Now keep in mind that if you're on higher difficulties, like if you're on hard difficulty or higher, your mounts can die permanently. So if you don't revive them after they've hit 0, they're dead, and you have to go get a new one. So it's always a good idea, either way, to always have more than one mount. Oh, also, they've got this inventory. So as they gather stuff up, they're going to be putting it either in their inventory or your inventory. Here it's going into mine, even though technically it can go into theirs. As you can see, I've stored a bunch of stuff in here. Some snacks, some bait, lights. I'm honestly having a blast playing this game. I've clocked in maybe only 13 or 14 hours so far, but there's just so much more to explore and discover. It's just, I'm having so much fun. It's not like the game has necessarily offered up anything truly unique in the survival crafting genre, but what it's done is kind of evolved a bunch of standard systems that we're all used to, and made things a lot smoother or a lot more fun and a lot less grindy. It doesn't have to be unique in that sense. Like, all it has to do is be more focused and evolving and polishing the game loops that we're all already familiar with. Like, I don't want it to be tedious, I want it to be fun, and I want it to be smooth. And the game definitely feels like it would be a lot more fun in a group. It's something I haven't tried yet, though I do hope to try at some point. Now, all that said, you know, the game is still in early access, so there's going to be a lot of bugs, no pun intended. And I didn't really personally experience any that were game-breaking, but I've read a few posts where people were, you know, experiencing all kinds of crazy stuff, like they lost all their things after doing a dungeon crawl, or their buggy has mysteriously disappeared. And keep in mind, there's still problems, so it's not perfect. So yeah, even though it's in early access and there's a lot of stuff that has to still be worked out, I feel like it's worth it. You know, it's made by Obsidian Entertainment, and in my opinion, they haven't made a game that was actually disappointing. I've loved all their releases so far. I'll leave a link to Grounded 2 down in the description, and if you decide to go get it, let me know what you think down in the comments. And also, if you know what movie this video's title is referencing, definitely comment down below what you think it is. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one. Peace.